What is poppin', everybody? Nathan Lombardo here with Lambo Media, and just to my left, the sensational Kai Murphy, outfielder for Arizona State University. An amazing person, not only on but off the field as well. Kai, an incredible journey from your side. Appreciate you hopping on first and foremost, and doing this and helping me set this up. But I want to start off by talking about your journey, Kai, because it's an inspiring one, and your mind and your mental state off the field is an inspiring one as well. We were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, but I want to start it off with your journey, Kai.
Yeah.
Walk the viewers through your journey. Tell them a little bit about who you are and who Kai Murphy is.
Yeah. I guess my journey kind of starts here at ASU a little bit. As young as I can remember, I was born in Tempe, grew up here. My dad actually coached here when I was a kid, up until about 2009. So growing up, it was like as soon as I could, not even probably before I could walk, I was at practice at Packard Stadium. Just in the dugout every day with the players, getting in the way, running around for sure. But that's kind of how the love for the game just started, growing up around the game every single day. Just me and my pops, it was just us growing up, so I was with him every single day, all the time. And obviously got to meet and hang out with a lot of great players that came through this program, and I have to shout them out. They definitely showed me what it meant to be how to grow up in the game, how to play the game, how to be a good person, and all that stuff. So the journey definitely starts in Tempe. ASU baseball started it, and then as I got older, started taking baseball a little bit more seriously, especially I played a lot of travel ball throughout middle school and high school, and went everywhere. Probably traveled too much, but did every summer circuit and stuff like that, and learned a lot from that stuff. And then, finally got the opportunity to go to college and play, and this is right where I should be.
You mentioned Pops and how much of an impact he had on you and your baseball journey growing up, and your state of mind outside of the game of baseball as well. How much does that relationship mean to you, with you and Pop Murphy? What's that relationship like, and talk about how much that has impacted you and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, man, that's my best friend in the entire world. He's my dad, he's my best friend, he's my coach, my therapist, whatever you want to, everything all in one. He's been there since day one. He's done unbelievable job. Like I said, it was just me and him growing up. So he was my dad and my mom, and he sacrificed everything really. Coaching a Division I program, and that's hard enough. But he also had to take care of me, and so that bond was really, really tight since day one. We've been really tight. And the cool thing is as I've gotten older, it's become even tighter. It's the friendship and the relationship has gotten even tighter, to where now, he is, baseball-wise, he is my coach a little bit, because I'll talk to him after every practice and just tell him how things went, and we'll bounce some stuff off each other. But at this point, it's almost we just talk about, life. We talk about most of anything he tells me in the baseball world is, for the most part, mentality-wise. He obviously, growing up with him, he wasn't always liked, for sure. He was kind of a bulldog, but he got things done, and he kind of instilled in me early, you got to work for what you want, and when you want something, you got to go get it. No one's gonna give it to you. So yeah, he definitely instilled that in me, and then now our conversations are pretty, we can get deep with it, and we can joke around. We're he's my best friend, but he's a lot older than me. But yeah, he definitely, he's the number one person in my life. He's helped me through crazy times, and he's there for me every single day. So yeah.
One of the biggest things you mentioned was the mentality part of it, and that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on, is because I respect how you approach things and go about things on a day-to-day basis, not only on the field but off the field so much, because I always hear you talking about getting right in, the mental state and how, important and how much you value that as a thing and a value in your life. And going back to your pops, went to Oregon State at first, you did, and then transferred here to Arizona State University.
Right.
Did you experiencing the Arizona State and Sun Devil lifestyle, growing up right out of the womb, did that impact your decision from going to Oregon State to Arizona State University at all, and you kind of understanding that lifestyle right out of the gate?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a little bit. I would say the biggest reason for me to transfer was honestly I was probably just going to be a pitcher there at Oregon State, and that was something where I really probably wasn't that good of a hitter at that point, and so I don't ever slight Oregon State like, oh, they don't know, like I wasn't a great hitter at that point. It kind of took them to tell me, you're not going to hit here, and then
a little chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's all I needed to hear, man. And I kind of went to work from there. I got home. It happened to be during COVID and the quarantine stuff. But as soon as I got home, I got a notebook in there, and I'll cherish the piece of paper. I remember one night I just got to writing, and I built this mentality and this mindset and chip on my shoulder that day, like fresh out of getting told I'm not gonna be a hitter, and I didn't know what the world was gonna look like. Obviously it was COVID. I was just like, all I know is I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get what I want. And I got to work, and after a while the opportunity, I kind of pushed the opportunity. I called up Coach Greenspan and Coach Smith and said, hey, I want to come play here. There's a lot of reasons. I have 2 little brothers at home, so it was like, I really want to be there for them. They're much younger, so it's kind of a big time for them, role models and growing up the right way. So, they're my 1, 2, and 3. They're tatted right here on me, like they're everything to me. So I wanted to make sure I was around. I wanted to be close to my pops. He had a heart attack 2 years ago, right before that had happened. So it was a scary thing for sure. But it was like when I had this opportunity to come play here, it was like, close to family, close to pops, close to my brothers. It was kind of a no-brainer, and then I called the coaches and said, hey, all I want is a shot. Give me a jersey and I'll take care of the rest. And, thankfully it worked out that way. I walked on and I was able to earn a starting spot, and now I was lucky enough to get a scholarship now. So, there was a lot of preparation. I won't say it was luck, because I know it wasn't luck, but, a lot of people helped me and got me to this point. But, I'm happy with where I'm at. And the cool thing is now I'm in a position where, some of the guys that played for my pops, or even before or after, that know that Sun Devil like tradition, the lifestyle, all that I grew up around, I kind of feel like I can try to bring some of that to this team and bring some of that culture back to this program. And there's a lot of other guys in our locker room too that feel the same way. So, that's what we're trying to do, trying to get, more guys on that wall of honor, more national championships up on the banners up there. So, we want to get it right.
Yes, sir, Kai. And one of the biggest things I took out of that kind of long-winded response was, the mentality shift when you found out that Oregon State really didn't think you could hit it, didn't think you could swing it at the plate. Was that when this new mentality that you currently have was implemented into your quote-unquote arsenal? Was that when you kind of started to implement this into your lifestyle?
100%. That was like, man, I'm a huge believer, and it sounds corny, but everything happens for a reason. Like, man, it is the biggest blessing in the world that I went out there and went through some of the things I went through and had that realization, because that, like I said, it sparked. There was one certain night that it kind of happened, and after that it just snowballed into this, like, building this mentality of like, I can't be stopped. If you want something in the world, like, as long as you work hard for it and put your head down and go get it, like, there's a good chance you can accomplish it. So that's kind of, that's where it started. Like I said, it's a blessing that it happened. I'm not pissed at him. I love him for it because it started this, and you know, like I said, I'm right where I should be, and you know, it's all been good from here.
Yes, sir. And one of the biggest things I hear from certain guys is, you know, and that are big into the mental side of things, not only in life but in the game of baseball, is journaling.
Oh yeah.
Are you big into journalizing and, you know, writing, you know, certain things down, writing, you know, your future aspirations, writing down your future goals? Is that something that, you know, you're kind of big into in your life?
Yeah, I just journal. Like, I have a notebook that I keep in my backpack every day that I've gone through a bunch of them, honestly. But it's like, if you read it, you would be like, you wouldn't understand it. Like, I think only I can understand it. Like, cause like page 1 is like ideas for starting a clothing brand, and then page 2 is like hitting stuff, like thinking stuff when I'm hitting, and then page 3 is like mentality. Like, it just bounces all over. It's just a kind of one-stop shopping for like what's in my mind. But yeah, dude, it's huge. Like, whether, you know, I wasn't always this way for sure, but recently, like, or for a while now, but now that I kind of know how to do it and it's part of my life, like, dude, I'll be swinging, and if I feel a certain thing, like, I'll run and grab my notebook and write it down, because in 2 weeks when I feel terrible or something's off, I can go right back to it, lock me back in. Or, you know, vice versa. I'm sure you have creative ideas when you're hanging out or doing whatever, and then
nowhere, bro.
And I used to have them, and then I'd forget them the next day, right? Like, we all have done that, and being able to write them down, and then sometimes you do forget, but you look back and you're like, oh man, I really should, you know, look into that. So journaling's been huge, and journaling, like, sometimes in the morning too, just like write down a couple of things you're thankful for in the morning. Like, that'll get you up out of bed and have a good day. So yeah, journaling is sick, for sure.
Yes, sir, I love that. And, you know, I talked a little bit about goals in that question. I want to hit on that before we transition away from this side of things a little bit. 2022 goals. If you're a guy who doesn't mind saying them,
yeah.
What are those 2022 goals, and what are you looking to do here in 2022? Not only on the field,
right,
but off the field as well.
Yeah. I can't give them all away because I got some stuff up my sleeve a little bit, all right. No, for the most part, baseball-wise, you know, obviously there's definitely the team goal of winning a national championship, bringing back that great culture here at ASU, and giving pride to the fan base and everything like that. That's definitely my main goal. Personal goal, it's not really results. It's not results oriented at all. It's more, I want to see how much clarity I can have on the baseball field. You know, there's a lot of outside stuff that comes in, whether it could be fans or, you know, people writing about, you know, baseball writers or whoever it may be, sometimes your own thoughts. But, you know, that's something that I've definitely dealt with, and that's one of my biggest goals this year, is just like getting back to being a kid that like loves the game, just plays with his hair on fire, plays with clarity. Because I know I am that kid, but sometimes you get mixed in with, you know, you want to get drafted, you want to, you know, hit 400, you want to hit 20 homers. Like, you know, I believe that's going to come when I believe I'm good enough to do that when I play with freedom and clarity. And that's really, you know, one of the biggest things me and my pops talk about, is just like playing with that freedom and clarity where you're not even thinking during the game, you're just like vibing, having fun. So that's a big baseball goal. Outside, you know, I do have kind of a clothing brand coming out soon. Still in the works for sure, but 200 Club right here. I can't exactly give out what it means and what it's about yet, but there's a lot of people know. If you know, you know. So it's coming. I'll release it soon, but I'm working on that. Just trying to do it right, because I think it'll be something cool. It's got a good message behind it, in terms of just basically staying relentless for what you want, whether it's, for me, whether it's, you know, being told you can't do something and keep doing it, or, you know, at the same time, like, I got it tatted on me because I can look down at it whenever. If I'm walking to the batter's box, or if I'm going through a hard time at home, or someone's going through a hard time, like they can think of 200 Club, and it's about being relentless. Whether you're going through something or you're going to get something, just stay relentless about it. So that's coming soon, hopefully.
Yes, sir. I like that. And it seems as if, I don't want to speak for you, but it seems as if baseball isn't your only passion. Isn't the only thing you want to pursue. Not only now, but in the future. You just mentioned 200 Club Studio. I also watched your interview. I forget who it was with. It was just over Instagram Live.
The other day.
Yeah.
Johnny Smokes.
You mentioned music too.
Yeah.
That's a possible thing. What is leading you to want to pursue other things outside of baseball? Is it you just wanting to diversify yourself as much as possible, explore new routes?
Right.
What is it that is leading you to do these things?
It's kind of been just like, it's not forced at all. It's almost just like, it's the way I grew up, I guess. As a kid, I was always like, I don't know the exact reason why, but like I was listening to music all the time. I wanted to make music for a while, and I still do, but I think maybe one day down the road it could happen. But I was always really into music. I was always just like had an eye for art and an eye for fashion, and it was something that I don't know, just over time, I guess, as I got older, I started to get it into. And it's just, I kind of have a little bit of a mind that kind of goes everywhere sometimes, where I have a lot of passions. I think baseball is definitely like one of the biggest things in my life, and I want to play it forever. But I know that I have other ways to impact people too, like whether it's, speaking my mind on a podcast or something, or, making some music, or making a clothing brand with a message. Like, I want to be able to somehow, it's partly for me because I got a lot of stuff going on in my head that I gotta sometimes find an outlet to get it out. But if that outlet could hopefully help one person out there that's kind of like me or thinks the same way as me, then that's what my life's about. That would be a win for me. So whether it's through baseball or music or whatever it could be, like, hopefully I can make a positive impact on somebody one day.
And we saw Stroh's show, Time, Mike Stud, that collab. Well, it used to be Mike Stud, now just Mike.
Yeah.
So we see a Kai Murphy and Mike collab.
Oof, Mike. Listen,
You
Steve.
heard it.
Listen, Papa Steve. I know we played. If you remember, I might be one of the only people to have beat you in Pong one time. You did beat us in the series. You beat us 2-3, but we beat you the first time. But yeah, Mike is obviously a legend out here. He's dope. I love his music. I listen to the highs every morning, basically on the way to the field or at the crib. It's crazy. And the funny thing is he talks about, like, he said one of his big things is like, live with it, like live with the music, and this is kind of how we live our life. And getting to be around him a little bit, like seeing him out and stuff, it's like, he's for real. Like that's how he lives his life, like his lyrics are like things he does in real life. And
the same off camera as he is on camera, like his mentality and the way he goes about things?
From what I've known, and I don't know him very well, I've just been around him a little bit, he's pretty quiet, it seems like, off the camera. When he gets with his group, he's loud and he likes to get after a little bit, but he's kind of a quiet dude. He's definitely like an artist mind, you can see. But the cool thing, at least for me, and I think a lot of his fans, are like, he knows the baseball side of it a little bit, and being able to, like, I'm a huge YouTube podcast guy, and I like watching that stuff. And the way, he's very like me. Like, he played baseball. His main thing is music now, but like, he's impacting people outside of music now. He's doing his podcast, reaching out to athletes, comedians, musicians, whatever. He's just using all of his platforms and means to impact people. And I think he's dope for that. I think I have a lot of respect for him. So hopefully, I want him, I don't know, it'd be crazy. I might walk out to Mike this year. We'll see. So
hey, camera. You never know.
You never know. You ready?
All right, so I want to stay on that topic a little bit, and talk a little bit about pregame music.
Okay.
You mentioned how, music is a huge thing in your lifestyle, but listening to, the highs and mic at home when you're just chilling could be a way different thing from what you listen to on the field pregame. Or it could be the exact same. It depends on your mentality pregame.
For sure.
If you're trying to stay laid back, I could see you listen to Mike, but if you're trying to get pumped up, I could see you listen to more of a old Mike.
Yeah.
We could say.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to pregame music genre, artist, or even style of music?
Yeah, I would say it definitely changes throughout the year because I definitely like Lil Durk's one of my favorite rappers, and he goes crazy. Like I was just lifting to Lil Durk. So there's most of the time it's Lil Durk before the game, Meek Mill, who else? Baby, of course. A lot of guys like that. But then every once in a while, I throw the highs on every once in a while. You play Mountains, you play Gang, like a couple songs would get you. And we got some guys in the locker room too that really, really like him. Connor Davis, me and him know every word, so we get down to the highs. So, I'll throw that on, but for the most part, I'd say it's pretty trenches rap for sure before the game, or in the weight room, trenches rap.
All right. What's your favorite Mike song? I gotta ask.
Dude, man.
What about from the Highs album?
From the highs, I can't give you one. I can give you maybe three.
Top three.
I think we're gonna go You Can Tell. That's my favorite one, You Can Tell. Second favorite is probably Still Works.
Okay.
And then third favorite, I would say, man, let me think. What I Know. When you know what I know, that might be the walkout. We'll see, but those are my top three. And then outside of the highs, White Flag's a banger. So that's a good, it's a good old Steve one. It's about, it's like him and his girl, I think, but it's fire. He's solid.
All right, I'm gonna have to listen to that after that. But I want to get back into the mental side of things.
For sure.
I like to correlate baseball and what you do on the field to life. A lot of times in my life, me playing baseball in the past and dealing with a lot of mental struggles on the field, facing the yips. That's a big mental thing. Letting go of the past. It's one of the hardest things to do. Not only on the field, but you got to do it off the field as well.
For sure.
If you're thinking about something that happened, something shitty that happened the day before, if you're thinking about it the next day, non-productive day. If you're thinking about an error, last play,
that
the ball's coming your way, an error. Next inning, you go up to the plate, a strikeout.
Yep.
How do you
100%.
let go of the past, Kai? And if you, how do I word this? So you're going up to the plate. How long did it take you to know how to get rid of the past and clear your mental state from past plays or things that happened to you in the past?
I think honestly it's still a work in progress for sure. It's not there 100% of the time, and I think you could ask big leaguers that and they would say the same thing. Baseball is so hard, man. It's not there 100% of the time, but something for me that it's funny you say that. My dad and I talked about it maybe 2 or 3 days ago, this exact thing. And it's I think Ted Williams said, he was if you look at it, if you want to forget about your last at bat because it was a strikeout, then if your last at bat was a homer, you got to forget about that one too.
Can't stay high. Too high.
It can't be too high, can't be too low. You got to approach every at bat the same. Whatever your mentality may be or approach is every at bat, you got to keep it consistent. Because if you hit a homer last at bat and you go up thinking the wrong way, you're gonna be right back here. Or if you're down, you know how easy it is to stay down when you're down. So yeah, just having that balance of no matter what, every at bat is important, every pitch is important. We're just trying to win pitches, one at a time. So keep that same mentality always. Keep that same energy.
I love it. Two more things. I want to talk a little bit about, the Arizona vibes, Scottsdale, Tempe. I know you're big into that, and then wrap it up talking a little bit about, baseball skill set and the tips you have for the younger guys. But first and foremost, Scottsdale. Gotta talk
It's a
about
vibe.
it. What's
It's a vibe.
why is it a vibe, Kai? What makes it so good?
Dude, it's just like
Hard to explain.
everyone's out here. This is the dopest time, or like the last couple weeks and going on right now is the dopest time because everyone's here. Like all the homies are here. A lot of guys live here in the off season or are coming here to get ready for spring training. So it's a vibe. Like wherever you are, you see someone that you know from baseball or whatever, and then if you are lucky enough, like when I get to work out with my guys at Apex, like it's good for me because I can sit in there and ask Bobby Dahlbeck about hitting, and he's doing it at the highest level, so I can have that conversation. I can talk to Jamie about some things that are going on in life, nothing even about baseball. I can talk to him because he's been through the highs, the lows, the middles, everything. Dude's an Olympian, like he's been through it all. So that's the cool part, is like everyone out there, a lot of like-minded people, even outside of baseball, like a lot of entrepreneurs. It's just a hot spot, man, for if you want to network, if you want to, talk to people. It's a good time, and people are starting to get that. Like Mike has come down here, he started the wave. Like it's a good time out here, especially. But man, it's Arizona. Like it's hot most of the time. The weather's great. You can't beat it. I don't know how else to say it. You can't beat it out here.
It's so hard to explain, but just walking around and just observing people and how they go about things, listening to music,
right?
Around town, it's just everything's so high energy, but so laid back at the same time.
For sure.
It's like a happy medium between the two, and I think that's a good segue. One of the things you said was going over to Apex, asking Bobby Dahlbeck, any questions you have, or other guys that live here, Cole Tucker,
yeah,
Carson Tucker's your boy, a ton of other studs. How beneficial has that been to your baseball career so far? Having the ability to, go to anyone you'd like.
Right.
From high school baseball, you mentioned that you saw Termar Johnson yesterday.
Yeah.
Or a couple days ago. And then, you could see Bobby Dahlbeck and link up with those boys.
Right.
How beneficial is that, to you, not only mentally, but on the diamond as well?
It's huge, man. Like I would be, the way I think about it, I would be stupid to not ask questions when I'm around everyone. And I'm lucky enough to have built a good relationship with them where I'm around them all the time, guys that are doing it at the highest level. And even, through my father, like I've been able to be around other guys that are doing it at the highest level, or coaches that are doing it at that level. So I definitely get let into a lot more information than most people, which I'm really blessed. I'm really lucky to have. But it's huge, man. Like I can talk to those guys, and Bobby played on the Red Sox with JD Martinez and Mookie Betts. So it's like there's two more networks that you get. So they've conversations like that definitely have helped my swing, helped the way I go about things, mentality-wise. I've talked about all of it. And yeah, mentally too. Like these guys have grown up. Some of them went, had a quicker path to the big leagues. Some of them went, Bobby and Scott Kingery, they went to college. Like they've been through this stuff. They've lived it. So I would be dumb to not ask them questions about how to navigate things or how they did it, and just there's no one right way to do it, is what I've figured out, kinda. But there is similarities of, there's a couple things that every guy holds true, and it's, good mentality, confidence, and a couple other things, but, not one way to do it, but, it's good to talk with guys and get as much information as you can.
Yeah. Two-way guy this past season, could dominate both on the bump, at the plate, and in the outfield. Is this something you're looking to do even, in the future, not only the short term but long term, or no?
Yeah, I mean, definitely this year I'll probably have a role on the mound too. just with some of our schedule being crazy, we got a lot of games packed into some short weeks. So there could be a need for, me to pick up some innings and hopefully, do what I could do last year and get some wins for the team. So long term, I don't think so. I think it's kind of just a college thing that it's fun. It's really fun to do. Not many people can say that they've two-wayed in college, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do that and have a school that supports that. But yeah, long term, I think my pro career is probably best suited in the outfield. Not too many 5'8" or 5'9" pitchers except for Stroh, but yeah, hopefully, keep pursuing the outfield. But whatever I can do to help the team on the mound this year is obviously, that's going to be huge. So yeah, you can expect me to kind of do both again this year, hopefully.
All right, stay on the lookout. And I want to talk about a teammate of yours as well. Absolutely balled out and put on a show last season, Ethan Long.
Yeah, he's wearing a blue and white glove in center field right now.
As a freshman, absolutely balled out, won numerous awards. Talk about him a little bit and kind of, the show he put on and, his raw skill set and, how he had the ability to adapt to college baseball out of high school baseball so well and so quickly at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. The cool thing is I've known Ethan since we were like 7 or 8 years old, growing up playing together on teams, and then playing against each other, and you can ask him, like, we had some crazy battles in high school. Our teams played in the playoffs 3 times against each other, I think, and we had some nuts battles. But from day one, like, we always had that respect for each other. Like, we both know how we go about our business, like, we both get after it. We both are pretty mentally strong on the field and off. And coming in last year, Ethan was kind of a little bit similar situation I had going on, where he came in the fall and played a little bit and did whatever, and then once the season came around, it was kind of like, hey, you're just gonna probably pitch for us for the most part. And he came in and he had, I don't know how many, he led the league in saves for the first 2 weeks. Like, damn. Had a bunch of saves, throws like 96 from the mound, 97.
2 ways over here.
But he ended up hurting his arm a little bit. I think he's fine, but he had to shut it down a little bit. So, he was kind of in that mode of, sitting around and waiting for his opportunity. And, some things happened, and he ended up getting an opportunity as a DH in middle of the year, and that boy just took it to the moon, man. Like, and it speaks to his mindset and his mentality, because he never stopped. Like, people told him, you might not hit here, and people told him you're too, he's a kind of a loud dude and confident in himself, and people don't always like that. They tried to talk down on him, and
that's him, though.
That dude he was him throughout the whole thing, and it showed once he started picking it up. Like, that is the single most craziest stretch of baseball I have ever seen in my life. Like, it was 14 homers in 10 games or something. It was like, it seemed like every time he went up to the box, he hit a homer, and people were like not even surprised anymore. It was like, there's another one. But like I said, man, he works for it. He deserves it, and he'll probably do it again this year, because he's that type of kid. So he knows I rock with him. He rocks with me, and it's been love since we were 7 years old. So.
Yes, sir. I love that, Kai, and I think that's huge to have those relationships. Not only with other people, but in particular people within your team or within your organization. Not only right now, but in high school and in pro ball as well. And I think that's an advantage that you have right now, is you already built so many connections and networks, not only on the field but off the field as well. Actually, personable relationships where you can go to them, like you mentioned, Jamie Westbrook. He's a fucking dog at the plate.
Yeah, crazy.
But you could go to him about not only hitting,
but
you could go to him about anything mentally as well, like you just mentioned, because he's been through about
the yips.
The work.
He had the yips, crazy, and that dude just freaking powered through, man. He's one of the strongest minded people that I know.
He's been through the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And I want to wrap it up with one more thing, Kai. I want to ask you, if you could give advice to a younger guy looking to get in your position one day in the future, what would the 1 or 2 pieces of advice be that you'd give to them?
1 or 2 pieces. I think, the biggest thing I can say is it's going to be mentality-wise, mindset-wise. Obviously, if you look at me, I try to say 5'9", I'm probably 5'8".
Yeah, I do the same thing.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And at this point, I've accepted it, and I've realized, people don't want to, especially, baseball, there's different sized people, but still the game is becoming hard throwing, home run, and that's the way the game is, and it should be. But there's not going to be people that want to give opportunities to 5'8", outfielders or stuff like that. And what I've learned is, man, you got to take it. You gotta not be afraid to put yourself out there and work for what you want, and sometimes bet on yourself. I came here as a walk-on, not knowing if there was 8 other outfielders here when I decided to walk on, and I just believed in my work ethic so much, and I had so much confidence in myself because of my work ethic and preparation that it allowed me to do things that I didn't even know were possible. I didn't really know if I could start here, coming off a walk-off, coming off of, or walk-on, coming off of not, being able to play at Oregon State. But I just bet on myself, man, and really got to work, and that's all I can say, man. It's mentality, and it's not gonna be just like this the whole time. I've been through some things where it feels like everything's going this way and feels like you're going backwards, but the biggest thing is just keep going. Word to Mike, keep going. That's true though. You got to keep going, man. You got to keep doing what you do. Keep it believing in yourself always, because it's not always going to be sweet. People aren't going to give you stuff. You just got to believe in yourself and get to it.
Right. I love that. Kai Murphy, Nathan Lombardo with Lambo Media. Kai, bro, I really appreciate you. I think this is going to benefit. You mentioned in your music you want to help a lot of people out, and I think this is the place for that to be, is they can jump into your mindset.
Yeah.
And seeing what you can do on the field, but off the field as well. They can jump into your mentality and see what it takes mentally to get to the position you're at today. But Kai,
right.
I appreciate you, bro.
My dog.
That was dope.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Where can they find you on socials, Kai?
On Instagram at KMurph1. Twitter at Kai J Murphy, I think. TikTok, I'm working on TikTok. Kai Murphy 999, Juice WRLD stuff. Kai Murphy 999. I made that a couple years ago.
Right.
I love Juice WRLD, but not a great username. But yeah, find me on TikTok. I make a couple, but IG is dope. Get on there a little bit. So.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. Tap into Kai's socials. Stay tuned for 200 Club Studio, everything he's doing, outside of that as well. Possibly music coming up, Mike. You heard the man.
For real.
You heard the man. You got called out.
Let's get to it, Mike.
Yeah, we gotta see guys shock the world. People wouldn't expect Kai to go out there and just drop a bomb with Mike. So we gotta see it. Kai, appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir, bro. Appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you.
It's always love.